Hello everyone, welcome back. In this lecture, I'll show you how to find out expected return, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, and correlation coefficient from historical data. Here, historical returns of asset X and asset Y are given for 5 years period from 2017 to 2021. We'll also calculate expected portfolio return of these two assets. We'll invest 50% of our money in asset X and 50% of our money in asset Y. Let's start with expected portfolio return. So first insert equal sign, then bracket, then select return of asset X for 2017, then multiplication into 0.5. Close your bracket, plus bracket again, then return of asset Y into 0.5 bracket close. So the B3 indicates asset X return for 2007 and C3 indicates asset Y's return for 2007. As we are investing 50% in asset X, so that's why we are putting 0.5. It indicates 50% and 0.5. It also indicates 50% investment in asset Y. Then press enter. So once you have calculated for it for 2017, you can easily calculate for the other year. Just put your cursor here, then drag it. So this is how we calculate expected portfolio return using Excel. It will save your time and it's much easier. Now let's calculate expected return or mean for asset X, asset Y, and expected portfolio return. So again, equal sign, then write down average. So you'll find the option here. So that's average. Then select your data, close your bracket, press enter. So once you have calculated it for asset X, you can do it for asset Y and portfolio. Just put your cursor here and drag it. So based on the expected return or mean, asset X, asset Y, and 50-50 portfolio are same. Now we'll calculate a standard deviation. Again, insert equal sign, then write down STDEV. So you'll find your option here, STDEV, first bracket, then select your data, close your bracket, press enter. So then do it for others. I will keep up to 2 decimal point. So here is your result, 3.16% standard deviation for asset X, 3.16% standard deviation for asset Y, and standard deviation of this portfolio is 0. So there is no risk involved in this portfolio. Now we'll calculate coefficient of variation. We know the formula of coefficient of variation, which is expected return divided by standard deviation. So expected return divided by standard deviation. Now do it for others. Sorry, I put here a wrong formula. So once again, formula of coefficient of variation is equal to standard deviation divided by expected return. So select the standard deviation first, divided by expected return, press enter. Now we can do it for other as well. Simply drag it. We keep up to 2 decimal point. So this is how, if you press on this decrease decimal, it will decrease the decimal point. If you select here, it will increase the decimal point. So we'll keep up to 2 decimal point. So coefficient of variation of asset X is 0.26. It is same for asset Y, and for portfolio this is 0. So if you are here to find out the least risky asset for investment, you should invest in portfolio. That means you should invest 50% of your money in asset X and 50% of your money in asset Y, because coefficient of variation of this portfolio is 0. We can also take the decision from here as well. A standard deviation of this portfolio, 50-50 portfolio, is also 0. So there are some risks involved in asset X and asset Y. If you invest all of your money in asset X, or if you invest all of your money in asset Y, there is a risk there, but there is no risk as per the data in the portfolio. So you should invest in the portfolio. So although the returns are same for asset X, asset Y, and expected portfolio and the portfolio, but standard deviation of the portfolio is 0. In the meantime, coefficient of variation of the portfolio is also 0. Now you may ask me why the standard deviation of this portfolio is 0, why there is no risk involved in this portfolio. If you look at the data, you'll find that there is a completely opposite relationship between the returns of asset X and asset Y. If you look here, when the return of asset X increases, return of asset Y decreases, and it moves returns of asset X and returns of asset Y moves completely in opposite direction. So from this data, we can say that their coefficient correlation is negative, or it is exactly -1. So for your proof, I'm going to calculate the correlation coefficient between the return of asset X and asset Y. So once again, find out correlation coefficient, insert equal sign, then write down correl, C-O-R-R-E-L. You'll find the option here, correl, first bracket, select the return of asset X, comma, select the return of asset Y, close your bracket, press enter. So here is your correlation coefficient, which is -1. So this indicates there is a perfectly negative correlation between the returns of asset X and returns of asset Y, and this is why the expected standard deviation of the portfolio is 0, and coefficient of variation of the portfolio is also 0. So that's all about this lecture. See you later.